Actually, in 21-22, I would, my goalie, put on something that had a tight waist. At 90, Shirley MacLaine is finally spilling the family dirt. The star just revealed why she and Warren Beatty didn't speak for years. She called him the beautiful one, but behind closed doors, they were fighting over Daddy's drinking problem, UFO sightings, and Hollywood jealousy. She admits she completely underestimated him and now confesses what really killed their relationship. The shocking truth about Hollywood's most famous siblings is messier than anyone imagined. Shirley MacLaine was born on April 24, 1934, in Richmond, Virginia. Her family was middle class, but they had big ambitions. Her father, Ira Owens Beatty, worked as a psychology professor, school administrator, and realtor. He even played music as a hobby. Her mother, Kathleen Corinne Beatty, was a drama teacher from Nova Scotia. She had a dreamy personality and a deep love for the arts, naming her daughter after Shirley Temple, already imagining a bright future for her. Shirley grew up in a house where discipline and creativity clashed. Her father was strict and often distant, while her mother encouraged artistic expression but wasn't always emotionally present. Their expectations were high, which pushed Shirley to be independent from an early age. In 1937, her younger brother Warren was born, who would later become a famous actor and director. Their relationship was both competitive and supportive, shaping them in different ways as they pursued their careers. Shirley often said she had an orphan psychology. Her parents were busy with their own lives, so she had to figure things out on her own. By the time she was 11, she was riding buses and streetcars alone to get to school and ballet class, giving her time to think about life in a way that most kids didn't. The world was in the middle of World War II, and money was tight. The family wasn't poor, but times were tough. Shirley felt the weight of those struggles and knew she wanted more for herself. Instead of feeling sorry for her situation, she used it as motivation to dream bigger. Her love for performing started when she was just 2.5. Her mother signed her up for ballet to help strengthen her weak ankles. What began as a simple health fix became something much bigger. Dance became her escape, giving her structure, discipline, and a way to express herself. By the time she was 16, she was performing with the Washington School of Ballet. She worked hard, pushing herself to the limit. During one performance of Cinderella, she broke her ankle right before going on stage as the fairy godmother. Instead of quitting, she wrapped her ribbons tighter and danced through the pain, a moment that showed her determination and attitude that would define her career. Even though Shirley was focused on her own dreams, she was also a fierce protector, especially when it came to Warren. She took care of him and defended him when he got into trouble. They spent a lot of time together, going to the movies and dreaming about the future. As they got older, they took different paths in Hollywood, but their bond never faded. Even in 2017, when Warren was caught in the famous Oscar mix-up and accidentally announced the wrong Best Picture winner, Shirley felt for him. She knew how hard that moment must have been. Shirley MacLaine knew what she wanted from a young age. She attended Washington Lee High School in Arlington, Virginia, but school never felt like her real calling. Instead of waiting to graduate, she took a leap of faith. She dropped out and moved to New York City to chase a career on Broadway. It was a bold move for someone so young, but she wasn't afraid of the uncertainty. At 18, she landed a spot in the chorus of Me and Juliet, 1953-54, a musical by Rodgers and Hammerstein. It was her first taste of Broadway, but she wanted more. In 1954, she became the understudy for Carol Haney in the Pajama Game. Knowing this could be her big chance, she cut her hair short to look more like Haney. If the role ever opened up, she wanted to be ready. That moment came sooner than expected. Just days after the show's premiere, Haney broke her ankle during a Wednesday matinee. MacLaine was called to step in. With little time to prepare, she took the stage and gave a performance that caught everyone's attention. Money was tight during this time. She often ate at automats where meals cost only a few cents, but she didn't let that stop her. She kept performing, and by June 1954, Haney had recovered. MacLaine could have gone back to being an understudy, but something incredible happened. Producer Hal B. Wallace had seen her on stage and was impressed. Without hesitation, he signed her to a 5-year contract with Paramount Pictures. Just like that, her Broadway days were behind her. Her discovery was a mix of talent and luck. One of the people in the audience that night was comedian Jerry Lewis, who was so impressed that he told Wallace to watch her perform. Wallace took his advice, and after seeing her live, he knew she was a star. He initially offered her $200 per week, a good sum for a newcomer, but her agent negotiated it up to $600. In a matter of weeks, she had gone from an understudy on Broadway to a rising star in Hollywood. Her film debut came in The Trouble with Harry, 1955, a dark comedy directed by Alfred Hitchcock. At just 20 years old, she starred alongside John Forsythe and Edmund Gwenn. The film didn't make a huge impact at the box office, but MacLaine's performance stood out. Critics praised her charm, and she won a Golden Globe for New Star of the Year. Before stepping into Hollywood, she made a small but important change. She was born Shirley MacLaine Beatty, but another actress named Shirley Beatty was already registered with the Actors' Equity Association. To avoid confusion, she decided to use her mother's maiden name, becoming Shirley MacLaine. It was a fitting choice. Her mother, Kathleen Corinne Beatty, had been a drama teacher who loved poetry and theater. Her younger brother, Henry Warren Beatty, later did the same thing when he entered Hollywood, becoming Warren Beatty. By 1958, MacLaine had proven herself as more than just a rising star. That year, she earned her first Academy Award nomination for Some Came Running, directed by Vincente Minnelli. The film starred Frank Sinatra as Dave Hirsch, a troubled Army veteran, and Dean Martin as his gambler friend Bama Dillard. MacLaine played Ginny Moorhead, a kind-hearted but naive woman who falls in love with Dave. Her performance was unforgettable. Ginny was a woman who loved deeply, even when it put her in danger. She was vulnerable but never weak, and her story ended in tragedy when she sacrificed herself to save Dave during the film's climactic scene. Critics praised MacLaine for bringing depth to the role, turning what could have been a one-dimensional character into someone real. The film received several Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor for Arthur Kennedy, but it was MacLaine's performance that left the strongest impact. But when Warren finally married Annette Bening in 1992, Shirley fully supported him. She called Bening the perfect gal for him and gave advice that helped keep the relationship strong. Shirley MacLaine's journey into metaphysics started with something she never expected. It was 1952, and she was in Washington, D.C. when she saw something strange in the sky. This was during the famous UFO sightings that year when multiple unidentified objects were tracked on radar and spotted by pilots and civilians. It was a major event covered by newspapers across the country, but from Lan it was more than a headline. It was a moment that changed how she saw the world. That sighting made her question everything. Was there more to life than what people could see and touch? Could humans be connected to something greater? These questions stayed with her for years, leading her toward metaphysics and New Age philosophy. At her ranch in New Mexico, she claimed to have seen more UFOs. She described these experiences as deeply spiritual. She believed extraterrestrials weren't just visitors from other planets, they were part of a larger truth about humanity's place in the universe. Back then, talking about UFOs or reincarnation was risky, especially for a Hollywood star. Most actors avoided topics that could make them look strange or hurt their careers. Lan didn't care. She spoke openly about her beliefs in interviews and wrote about them in her books. She talked about meditation and a concept she called Suppak consciousness, which she believed connected all living beings. Some people admired her courage, others laughed at her. Late-night comedians made jokes about her ideas. Critics dismissed her as eccentric, but none of that made her stop. Her writing became just as well known as her acting over the years. She wrote more than 15 books about spirituality. One of the most famous was Out on a Limb, published in 1983. It was part memoir and part exploration of past life regression therapy, trans-channeling, and reincarnation. In the book, she described how hypnosis sessions revealed memories of past lives. She believed she had once been a monk in Asia. In another life, she lived among elephants in India. She also wrote about a man named David, a mysterious figure based on real people who had guided her through her spiritual journey. Through conversations with him, she explored deep questions about existence and love. The book sold over 1.2 million paperback copies and became a bestseller, but it also brought more criticism. Many people thought her stories were too bizarre to be real. Comedians turned her into a joke. Some readers, though, saw the book as life-changing. The success of Out on a Limb led to a 5-hour ABC miniseries. In 1987, millions of viewers watched as Lan shared her spiritual journey on television. She wasn't just an actress anymore. She had become a major voice in New Age thought. Her past life experiences only became more unusual during hypnosis sessions she claimed to remember. Living in Atlantis, she believed she had been there when it sank into the ocean. According to her, the disaster happened because of greed and the misuse of power. She said extraterrestrials, whom she called star people, had shown her these memories and revealed that Atlantis was once a powerful energy center for Earth. She also believed she had been a concubine in ancient China. Through regression therapy, she described the details of palace life, the rituals, and the emotional struggles of that lifetime. She saw these past lives as more than just memories. They explained parts of her personality and relationships in the present. She believed that people's experiences in past lives shaped who they were today. Not everyone believed her. Many thought her claims were too far-fetched, but she insisted that past life memories had real meaning. She saw them as lessons that could help people understand their purpose and the connections between all souls. Her beliefs didn't just bring criticism from the public, they also caused tension with her younger brother Warren Beatty. He was one of Hollywood's biggest stars, known for being practical and intellectual. He didn't share her interest in spirituality, and their differences created problems between them. At one point, he reportedly called her ideas cosmic nonsense. The comment led to a temporary estrangement. Their relationship was complicated by more than just spiritual disagreements. They were both famous, and professional rivalry played a role in their distance. They rarely worked together, and their public interactions were limited, but over time their bond softened. MacLaine later said she understood why her brother was skeptical. She believed that every soul had a unique path, and his was simply different from hers. Shirley MacLaine and Warren Beatty are the only siblings in Hollywood history to both win Academy Awards. Their careers took different paths, but each found a way to leave a lasting mark. Shirley won Best Actress in 1984 for Terms of Endearment, a film that became a cultural milestone. Her role as Aurora Greenway, a strong-willed mother navigating love and loss, connected deeply with audiences. The movie made over $18 million, a massive success for the time. Warren won Best Director for Reds in 1981, an epic film about journalist John Reed. It earned 12 Oscar nominations, and Warren himself was nominated for acting, writing, directing, and producing. He achieved this rare accomplishment twice in his career, something almost no one else in Hollywood has done. Together, the two siblings have earned 20 Oscar nominations, 14 for Warren and 6 for Shir, securing their legacy as Hollywood royalty. Their financial success reflects their long and carefully built careers. Shirley's net worth is estimated at $50 million, earned through decades of acting, writing, and even spiritual teaching. She starred in classics like The Apartment in 1960 and Steel Magnolia in 1989. She also became a best-selling author, writing about her personal experiences and spiritual beliefs in books like Out on a Limb. Warren has an even higher net worth at $70 million thanks to his involvement in producing and directing. He made sure to take on roles where he had creative control, profiting from hits like Bonnie and Clyde and Heaven Can Wait in 1978. His directing career added to his wealth, with Reds being one of his biggest achievements. He is still the only person to ever receive Oscar nominations for acting, directing, writing, and producing twice in his lifetime. Though both became wealthy, they took very different approaches. Shirley expanded into television and spiritual seminars, charging up to $300 per attendee for her workshops. Warren focused on big-budget films that involved risk, but had the potential for huge payoffs there. Their combined net worth of $120 million proves they not only had talent, but also knew how to navigate the business side of Hollywood. At 90 years old, Shirley is preparing for what might be her final film, People Not Places, scheduled for release in 2026. Directed by Brad Furman, best known for The Lincoln Lawyer, the film tells the story of an elderly widow who befriends a homeless man while facing her own mortality. The production has struggled with financial issues, with reports that crew members are owed a total of $245,000. Warren, now 87, has stepped away from the industry. His last film, Rules Don't Apply, came out in 2016 after a 15-year break. Despite a cast that included Annette Bening and Lily Collins, the movie flopped, making only $3.9 million against its $25 million budget. It was an unexpected end to a career filled with success. Shirley continues working because she loves storytelling. Warren has chosen to stay out of the spotlight. Their careers couldn't be more different, but both shaped Hollywood in ways few others have. Two siblings from Virginia became legends, proving that talent and determination can take you to the top.